The Calreth Dominion was an empire feared across the spiral arms. Their fleets were old, vast, and arrogant, a predator's grin carved into the stars. For centuries they had bullied minor civilizations, stripping colonies of resources, enslaving populations, and erasing those who resisted. To them, humanity was simply the next in line. The incident began at Erebos Station, a human colony perched near the borders of Dominion space. It was a peaceful hub, not a fortress. Farmers tended hydroponic towers, children laughed in artificial parks, and the station's defense was a token flotilla of frigates, symbolic more than practical. The Calreth did not declare war. They did not demand surrender. They simply arrived. A fleet of war cruisers tore from hyperspace like knives through fabric. Energy lances shredded the defenders in minutes. Civilian evacuation ships were targeted first, their desperate transmissions silenced mid-scream. The Dominion Admiral broadcast the attack across nearby systems, boasting of humanity's weakness, declaring Earth a soft world of prey that would be culled and enslaved. When the fires dimmed, Erebos Station was a hollowed husk. Over 100,000 civilians were dead. To the Calreth, it was merely an opening statement, a demonstration of dominance. They expected silence in response, and for a time, they received it, mocking the quiet world. The galaxy watched, as it always did when the Dominion made its moves. Many civilizations whispered that Earth would break, that humans would sue for peace, or withdraw behind their fragile borders. The Calreth themselves flooded the galaxy's communication channels with laughter and scorn. Humans hide in their cradle. They sing songs of peace. They write poetry of stars. They are no warriors, only cattle waiting for their herders. Weeks passed. No retaliation came. No fleets mobilized. Earth's diplomats did not scream for vengeance, nor did their colonies amass arms. Instead, Earth fell utterly silent. The Calreth interpreted this as fear. The galaxy nodded in grim agreement. Humanity, for all their ambition and curiosity, was unprepared for war. They lacked the military traditions of older species, the brutal efficiency of empires forged in conquest. What no one understood, not the Calreth, not the neutral observers, not even humanity's allies, was that Earth's silence was not weakness. It was calculation. It was the sound of a predator's lungs filling before the roar. The silence breaks, it began quietly. A Dominion scout fleet patrolling the border of human space vanished without a trace. No wreckage, no signals, just gone. The Calreth dismissed it as accident or mutiny. Then, their forward bases, the same outposts they used to launch raids into human systems, stopped transmitting. Within 48 hours, 6 installations were gone. No distress calls, no survivors. The galaxy began to notice, and then the silence cracked open. Across human space, fleets stirred. Shipyards that had seemed dormant for decades lit their forges. Orbital rings disgorged warships not seen in public records. Entire planets were revealed to have been quietly militarized under layers of civilian camouflage. Earth, long dismissed as a peaceful blue world, unleashed her hidden armadas. Communications pulsed across the stars. Short, cold, and unforgettable. Erebos was not forgotten. The reckoning has begun. Every human fleet identifier broadcast the same signal, a single word, repeated in every tongue the galaxy knew. Retribution. Revelation of the Shadow Armadas. The Calreth realized, far too late, that Earth's military had never been absent, merely hidden. Humanity had grown in silence, studying every empire, every battle, every weakness in galactic warfare. For centuries they had smiled and traded and explored, while forging fleets in the shadows. The Dominion believed humans possessed only a few thousand warships. In truth, millions of vessels surged from deep dock vaults and asteroid foundries. Dreadnoughts, each the size of cities, emerged with blackened hulls that devoured light. Carriers launched swarms of autonomous strike craft, machines with a single directive: erase the enemy. When these armadas moved, stars themselves seemed to dim beneath their passage. Entire sectors fell under the shadow of Earth's fleets. The galaxy finally understood. Earth's silence had not been submission. It had been preparation, the retaliation unleashed. The first true battle came at Vathar's Gate, a Dominion stronghold guarding the route into their core systems. The Calreth fleet numbered in the thousands, bristling with weaponry that had subjugated dozens of civilizations. They waited confidently, their admiral mocking humanity in open channels. Earth sends its children to die. We will break you as we did Erebos. When the human fleet arrived, it was not children that came. It was Leviathans. The battle began with silence. Then, in unison, Humanity's dreadnoughts opened fire. The void ignited. Lances of energy as wide as continents carved through Dominion warcruisers like paper. Swarms of strike craft ripped apart escorts, striking engines and reactors with machine precision. The Calreth fired back desperately. Their weapons struck human shields and armor, but Earth's vessels were built for endurance. They had studied every Dominion tactic, every weapon signature, every weakness. For every human ship destroyed, 10 Dominion warships fell. When the smoke cleared, Vathar's gate was gone. Not captured, not damaged, gone. A fortress that had stood for centuries erased in a single battle. The galaxy trembled. War like none had seen. The retaliation did not pause. Human fleets did not hold ground, negotiate, or claim tribute. They advanced like a tide of fire, burning away Dominion holdings with relentless efficiency. Worlds that had been slave factories for centuries were liberated in days. The freed raised their voices in awe and terror as Earth's soldiers descended. Not diplomats, not merciful saviors, but warriors with eyes like steel, delivering swift death to their captors. Dominion shipyards were torn apart, communication hubs silenced, capitals bombarded until their skies glowed with permanent auroras of destruction. The Calreth had believed humanity incapable of war. What they had never considered was this. Humanity had prepared for war longer than the Dominion had been ruling, quietly, patiently, waiting for a single spark. The fall of an empire. The climax came at Avar Prime, the Dominion's jewel world. Their emperor, a figure worshipped as a living god, gathered his final fleets around him. He promised the galaxy that Earth would break upon his throne. Instead, Earth brought annihilation. The human armadas arrived not in waves, but in a single, coordinated strike, fleets from every corner of human space converging in silence, blotting out the stars above Avar Prime. The Emperor's final transmission to the galaxy was filled with panic. They were never weak. They were waiting. Moments later, the skies fell. Human dreadnoughts unleashed barrages that shattered orbital fortresses. Carriers vomited forth endless strike craft. The Dominion's proud fleets, once symbols of galactic supremacy, were reduced to wreckage adrift in burning skies. When humanity's soldiers descended onto Avar Prime, they moved like storms, armored phantoms in unison. The Emperor was dragged from his throne, not to negotiate, but to stand trial on Erebos' ashes. His empire crumbled in weeks, a structure of arrogance too fragile to withstand Earth's fury. Aftermath. The whisper in the dark. When the last Dominion fleet burned, the galaxy fell into silence once more. But this silence was different. It was not the quiet of ignorance. It was the hush of fear. Entire civilizations whispered among themselves, "Never provoke Earth again." The lesson was carved into the stars. Humanity's patience was vast. They would smile, they would wait, they would remain silent for decades, even centuries. But their silence was not weakness. It was calculation. And when that silence broke, when the war machines stirred and the fleets darkened suns, their vengeance was infinite. Erebos was avenged. The Calreth Dominion was ash. And Earth's name became a warning spoken in reverent terror. The galaxy learned the truth too late. Earth's silence was never fear. It was preparation for war.